Time now for Media Watch. James Creedon is with us in the studio. It's
Hi,
good
Laura.
to see you, James. We're going back to the United States. Donald Trump pulling the rug from under one of his closest allies. This is, of course, his own Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. And a lot of people were actually feeling sorry for Sessions today when he had to come out and say, I'm not going anywhere.
He was lashing out left, right and centre, and that has really been the takeaway comment that a lot of people have picked up on. The 5 biggest surprises in Trump's explosive New York Times interview, and that indeed his comments on Jeff Sessions were number 1 in that particular breakdown of the article. But actually the French media have been picking up on something else. He mentioned that this is harping back to the trip to Paris on Bastille Day.
The world's longest handshake.
Macron likes to hold my hand is Donald Trump's interpretation of what happened there, which is an interesting revisiting of the facts, which it seemed to me that Donald Trump was kind of not letting his hand go. But anyway, let's take a look at some of how that's been.
Paris is romantic. You're walking around. It's nice to hold someone's hand, isn't it? I don't know.
That's right. And there was even kind of a hand-holding triangle at one point, wasn't there, with Brigitte?
Yeah.
But in any case, he used that expression that he loves holding my hand. People don't realise he loves holding my hand. And a third time, but he does love holding my hand. He actually said that, and there you have it in highlighted version. Kevin Maley on Twitter there helping us out to show that Donald Trump actually said that 3 times. What was he getting at? What was he trying to say? What is the subliminal messaging? Is he trying to cast him as, a little boy holding his father's hand? I don't know, but it certainly is bizarre language. Eric Geller of Politico is saying it's possible that something better than Trump talking about Macron exists in the world, but if so, I haven't encountered it. I think there's probably better things, to be honest. But this is the actual moment. You can see here, it already got quite a lot of coverage. It seems that Donald Trump was trying to get back at Emmanuel Macron for the NATO summit handshake where Macron came out on top, because you see diplomacy now just is boiled down to who has the stronger handshake. I think you see this was when he took Brigitte Macron's hand as well, and it was all very odd.
He's unfazed, Macron, to his credit, doesn't he?
Right.
Taking it all in his stride.
That's it. Anyway, so you had some lashing out at Trump on social media saying at least Macron's hands aren't tiny, Donald. He was in the past accused of having small hands. And RT, the Russian TV channel, probably quite happy to see not infighting, but a little bit of ironic commentary from Donald Trump here, saying it's a bromance. Trump gushes about Macron as a great guy who loves holding my hand. It's all a little bit weird.
You slipped into an American accent, then you changed your mind there, didn't you?
I don't know what happened, just spontaneously.
Now, what to do when you get a bit of unwanted attention from the opposite sex? One tactic is to pretend you don't speak that person's language.
Me no understand. Je ne parle pas français. Sorry, that is in French. I mean, it has been done before, but perhaps not at a high-level summit. Now, Newsweek is headlining here. This has been picking up on another detail from that New York Times article. Japan's First Lady, Aki Abe is her name, mysteriously couldn't speak English when she met Donald Trump at the G20. Now,
all her English.
Shall we just seg there, because that's an image of the infamous handshake
this was
where
terrible.
Abe had his hand absolutely crushed.
Savage. One of the first Trump handshakes.
That's where we saw the writing.
Was very unprepared, Abe, wasn't he?
That's right, and his face at the end of that handshake
spoke
of his pain. He literally had his hand crushed. In any case, maybe his wife felt that she just didn't want to engage with Donald Trump at all after that. But this is how it's being interpreted. It looks like the First Lady of Japan pretended not to speak English for nearly 2 hours to avoid talking to Trump. Now, they were seated next to each other at a G20 meeting, and it was referred to in Donald Trump's long interview with the New York Times, where Maggie Haberman, who conducted the interview, said, she said, like nothing, right? Like zero. And Trump said, not even hello. Haberman then went on to say that must have made for an awkward seating. Well, it's not hard because, et cetera, et cetera. And in any case, she did not apparently speak to him.
She was not getting into it.
At all. But some saying that the New York Times interview, certainly the informal way in which it was conducted, proves that Donald Trump doesn't speak much English either. But certainly his interviewing style has seen him...
Are you sure he doesn't speak Japanese? Just a guess.
Well,
finally, let's end, of course, with the French president once again. He is prone to dressing up, isn't he? And stunts and that kind of thing.
Is.
And
now,
today was no different.
This was in a bid to reconcile with the army after the chief of staff stood down. General de Villiers stood down. So he had a meeting in the Bouches du Rhône in the Istres Air Base. where he told the military that the budget would be increased next year in a bid to reassure them because budget cuts are affecting the military this year. But he dressed up as an Air Force pilot, which I don't think he had to do.
He's on a submarine before, wasn't he?
That's right.
He's been in a naval outfit.
That's right. That's right. So this led Le Lab d'Europe 1, which is a website focusing on politics, to compare him to Tom Cruise. Right?
Obviously.
And to add a video at the bottom, which is "Take My Breath Away." I'm not sure we'll be able to hear it, but you get the drift. I think we all know what that sounds like. In any case, what else is being said on this matter? There you have Tom Cruise being dug out from saying he dressed in a submarine operative's uniform. Chuck Macron is now dressed as a pilot, and that's the moment you just mentioned from a few weeks ago, where 007, as he was being dubbed then, got dropped onto a French nuclear submarine. So certainly he knows how to pull off a publicity stunt, and
everybody loves a uniform.
that's right.
Can't
Either
go wrong,
007 or Tom Cruise, one or the other.
I feel the need for speed. All right, let's leave it there, James. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Laura.
James Creedon there with Media Watch.